Well, starting with the Paragon, I mean, it looks really incredible. So I'm excited to ask you some questions as such a big developer here. So with everything that's been going on the last 5 years, what are you betting on right now? Like which location geographically, or is it an asset class? Where are you seeing the next opportunity?
Well, the projects that we do are hospitality, multifamily, and condo. We're continuing to grow our condo business because I think there's going to be ongoing opportunity there for South Florida and quite frankly across the state. So we're making a strong push to do many more condo projects. Basically very focused on the luxury space. So anything luxury to ultra luxury. And that to us is a customer that we want to continue to target because we think that buyer is going to be here for a long time. So we're investing a lot of time in that.
But how are you going about finding the land or the opportunities? Because there's, it's so tight and so limited. How are you? Do you have anything secret under your belt that you think could be coming through?
We have a number of projects that we still haven't made public yet that will be coming out probably first quarter next year. But there is, I wouldn't say, our strategy is any secret or anything overly unique, but it is challenging. It is a very tight environment. It's hard to find land that makes sense to develop condos on right now. But we do some of the condo terminations, which you hear about a lot out there, and we're very focused on continuing to do those because I think that's an opportunity to do something good for the community and then develop something new that elevates the fabric of those neighborhoods. Some of these old buildings, they require tens of millions of dollars to maintain and upkeep, and it's just, I don't think it's fair to the unit owners to be put under that type of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we can come in and solve problems and acquiring the property and redeveloping it into something more modern and in today's current code and do something more beautiful, I think that's great for our community in these neighborhoods.
I love that. I love that approach of like how you're saying how it's benefit for the unit owners, benefit for you, benefit for everyone. I mean, the area where the Paragon is, I think, was really starving for new development. Really, you only had 57 Ocean there, and that's it. You have nothing all the from like south of Fifth until Surfside.
Right.
So that's really exciting. And what do you think attributed to such a success of Paragon? I think it sold incredibly well, still continuing to sell incredibly well. What do you think was the biggest driver to its success?
The biggest driver of Paragon's really been quality and location as well. What Paragon offers unit owners, aside from the fact that we have a Michelin star chef curating the culinary experience, have a Pritzker firm that did the architecture, have Tara Burner that did the interior design, Gustafson Porter that did our landscape architecture, all these things coming together really differentiated Paragon, and then the quality of the design and the finishes that we put and how we haven't cut any corners on the project has really continued to elevate that project and make it very well received. But I think what's important at Paragon is some buyers want to sometimes be a little bit away from the chaos and the fun, so they get to escape to their own oasis. But that chaos and fun is close enough to where if they want to go out and go have a great dinner, have a good time, whatever these things are, it's minutes away from the building. So it's kind of their escape, their retreat, their private oasis that curates a holistic lifestyle for them in a location, an area where there's really no traffic there.
Yeah, sure.
So that's great too. And Paragon, what's beautiful is not only do you have beach views, but there's no building on the west side. So you have downtown views, Lagos Country Club. So it just, all these things coming together has really continued to allow Paragon to thrive. And we love that program for a project like that.
I mean, it's great. We have many clients that bought there.
Yeah.
Some actually right away, straight out of the bat in the beginning. So when everything was going on with the tariffs and labor issues and how does that impact a project, or does it impact a project?
It's things that we watch. We don't want any of our subcontractors to get into any trouble because they're facing some challenges. It really hasn't impacted any of our projects. Our projects are generally all have guaranteed maximum price contracts. The construction's moving forward swiftly. A lot of the things that are being impacted by tariffs, we've already bought and ordered. And so generally it really hasn't impacted us in a big way. I think going forward is as we buy out new jobs to start new construction, we'll see how that plays out. But I wouldn't say it's a major problem, but the key is going to be when we do new projects and we start new construction is that we can still lock down price the way we need it to be, so it's guaranteed. It doesn't move.
So it almost sounds like you were in like the perfect place with Paragon. You already had it all kind of locked in, so it wasn't out of nowhere impacting you, and now you're ahead of it for the next project.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true, yeah.
And then Cipriani, you guys secured one of the biggest construction loans in South Florida. I think the biggest construction loan.
At the time, it was the largest single tower construction loan ever done in Florida, yeah.
So can you share a little bit about how you were able to achieve that? If you could just give a little insight as to, without giving away your secrets, but how did you make that happen?
It really just comes down to our sales that we had in place and having relationships in the marketplace and our lenders trusting us. We actually did that at a time where financing was not so easy. If we went and got that loan today, it would be cheaper, faster. Everything would be different today because there's such an abundance of construction financing available in today's market. But for Cipriani at that time, it was just the sales and the success of the team and how well we've been executing, and then our relationships with the lenders that we borrow from. That's a big part.
And how much do you think the brand played a part in it? Because there's all this talk now about branded residences in Miami. You have all the different brands that are out there. How do you feel the brand plays into your success as a developer in a project?
So the Cipriani brand has driven a tremendous amount of success. It's driven a premium on our sales revenue, and it's driven a higher velocity than otherwise we would have had. Because when the market did start to change coming out of COVID, and you started to see more seasonality again in South Florida, we still were able to drive sales at a pace that was continued to be healthy. I believe because of the Cipriani brand, because it's such a globally recognized brand and just drove ongoing success. So to us, we're very happy working with the Cipriani family and that brand, and it also really tells a sexy story, which has been very well received.
I mean, that says a lot, especially for the Brickell location.
Absolutely.
And leading to my next question, are there any areas that you feel are oversaturated, or any areas that you see still seem very undervalued and have a lot of room for appreciation?
I think that there's a middle market. I think that you're feeling a little bit more of a slowdown right now. In the luxury side, in the right locations where there's barriers to entry, we continue to see those markets thrive. Coconut Grove, Miami Beach, and the like kind. But I would say the place where I think you're seeing a softening because there's a lot of competition is that middle market. And so, but we're not very focused on that space.
And where do you see, do you have an idea of any area that you feel is undervalued that you think is going to have significant appreciation?
I mean, in general, we've always said, and I continue to believe that Miami in general is undervalued.
Oh, still till today?
I think there's ongoing opportunity to grow. I think Coconut Grove has a lot of potential to run. There's limited inventory in that market. There's not much supply that can be built there because of the barriers to entry.
Right.
Miami Beach, I think, has room to run because, again, same thing. There's high barriers to entry. You can't create more beachfront. It's hard to find new sites. So, it's really a game of supply demand. So I think that.
Do you think building these new projects, like the goal is going to still be to sell at, let's say, $4,000, $4,500 a foot, or do you think for new projects, because acquisition costs might be higher, the goal will have to be $6,000, $7,000 a foot? And do you think Miami could achieve that?
It comes down to what you pay for the land is what's going to drive. Do you need to sell for $6,000 a foot? We're not seeing anything that you need to sell at those numbers. $4,000 a foot plus. I think that's one, achievable, and two is kind of where you need to be underwriting opportunities in Miami Beach today. Very different from when we started Paragon, where the market was probably $2,500, right? And now we're selling beachfront at north of $5,000.
Yeah.
So the world has changed tremendously, and quite frankly, we haven't had any pushback on pricing or in any way on the beach.
I will tell you, you have incredible floor plans. Like you said, amazing views. The speakeasy sounds super cool. I'm excited to see how you activate that.
Yeah, thank you.
But really cool and exciting project. I do have another question for you. When you are doing a project, do you have some sort of metric, or is it mainly on intuition of when you say when to go, when to hold? Do you put the project forward and put the shovel to the ground, or are you going to hold it and wait a little bit longer? How, as a developer, do you manage that?
So to put the shovel in the ground, meaning starting construction, the way I make that decision is where our sales are. If we have the right amount of sales, we'll start construction and move forward with the project. And the question comes is, when do you launch a project? I think some projects you want to wait, launch into season, and other projects it's not necessary to wait for that timing to be so perfect. And then we always monitor the market to make sure that what we're doing is well positioned for the environment that we're in.
Well, you're doing an incredible job with both Cipriani and Paragon, and we are so excited to see that come to life. I think Paragon looks like it's making great headway to top off soon.
Oh, we're more than halfway up the building.
That's fast.
Yeah, we're on the 9th floor right now.
I drive by it every single day, and every day I'm like, wow, it's getting more and more. And what's amazing is you really see that shape, which is a very unique shape, but you're seeing it come to life, and it's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I commend you on that construction site.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for spending time with us and sharing with us some insight into the development world and building in, I think, one of the most exciting but very challenging markets because there's no inventory and very little land.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.